You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome to Live at 4. I'm Susan Simon.
And I'm Sarah Carlson, filling in for Brady Mallory. He'll be joining us live from the Coats for Kids campaign any minute now.
40th year this year of Coats for Kids. Can you believe it?
It's impressive.
Time flies when you're having fun. We're going to begin today with the weather. And if you're kind of sad to see summer come to an end, this is your week because it's going to get a little warmer each day this week. Blaze Keller is on the weather patio. Nice afternoon out there, Blaze.
It is, yes. Last week when I was out here, the frogs weren't as jumping in the weather patio pond, but now they're swimming, they're zooming around in the water. The fish are as well. I think that's a sign that they're enjoying these warmer temperatures just as much as we are here across central and southern Wisconsin. It's 70 degrees. We've started off our trend that will continue through the rest of the week of climbing into those low to mid 70s. You can thank those southwesterly winds for the uptick in temperatures. It still feels very nice outside. Even with those southerly winds, our dew points are still in those upper 40s to low 50s, so not as humid outside. We're at 74 in Black River Falls. We have rebounded from 32 degrees this morning, so we really have warmed up quite considerably further to the north. Almost near 80 in La Crosse, 72 Janesville, 74 Lone Rock, stretching into Platteville. It's 72 in Middleton, 71 in Stoughton. Many of us are sitting underneath clear to mostly clear conditions, and that's what's going to continue through the rest of this evening into the early overnight hours. Beginning to become more partly cloudy, though, ahead of our rain chance as we go into Tuesday evening. We'll track out that with Future Track and look at any more rain chances in the full forecast.
Okay, thank you so much, Blaze. See you soon. In the news now, 7 people and 3 pets are out of a home after a fire on Madison's north side. About 2:30 Friday afternoon, firefighters were called to Kennedy Heights around 12:30 for a possible fire. Firefighters say it was put out when they arrived and everyone was safely evacuated. Due to smoke damage and unhealthy air in the home, though, the residents were displaced. But the American Red Cross is helping, and the Dane County Humane Society is providing shelter for the pets. The cause of the fire is still unknown.
Well, here's an interesting question. Did you know that the DMV can legally sell your information?
Yeah, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation collects millions of dollars every year by selling it through the DMV.
Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, shows you what they're selling and how you can opt out.
This practice is legal under Wisconsin law, but many are unaware that it's happening each year. WISC-TV makes millions selling personal information, and that information includes your name, address, date of birth, gender, driver's license number, driving record, status, and what type of car you drive. Now, our Call for Action volunteers remind you, in Wisconsin, the DMV allows drivers to remove their name and address from requests of 10 or more records. To opt out, you need to print and fill out the form called MV3592. Then mail it to the Department of Transportation in Madison. Now, you can find this form and all of the information on channel3000.com. And that first chance to opt out is usually when you apply for a license. So for anybody in future reference, if you're taking those kiddos or teenagers to get that road test and you don't want their information sold, be sure to check that tiny box offering to withhold your name from lists DOT sells.
Okay, thank you, Michelle Renee. Now, you can see more of our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, and Call for Action at the Call for Action Telethon happening next week, Thursday. Between 4 and 7 p.m., we'll have consumer advocates in the building answering all of your calls.
Well, as things get cooler, we're inching closer to hearing Mariah Carey on the radio again. And you know what that means. The holiday season is just a few months away. This feels a little too soon, doesn't it? And Green Bay will be rocking with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They'll be at the Resch Center on Thursday, November 13th for 2 shows, one at 2:30 and one at 7:30. Tickets go on sale on Friday. And in other music news, country superstar Garth Brooks is opening Summerfest next year. We're giving you plenty of heads up on these events. Mark your calendar. The show is June 17th, 2026, and tickets for that go on sale this Friday.
This one's a more soon need that will be coming up sooner. Coats for Kids, our campaign, the 40th year officially running This is such a wonderful kickoff.
Yep, the kickoff is today, and we're holding a Pack the Truck event that will run tonight until 6:30. And that is where Brady is this afternoon. He's at Clinky Cleaners on Monona Drive with, how many coats have we gotten so far, Brady?
Okay, I know what you're thinking. It's Monday, you're depressed that the weekend is over. That alarm clock went off just a little too early today, and you need a hit of dopamine to get rid of that case of the Mondays, right? Well, you can do that by coming to the Clinky Cleaners on Monona Drive and helping us stuff this van. We're gonna learn a little bit more about it, but here with me is Jake Brown with the Boys and Girls Club for our 40th Coats for Kids event. How are you doing, Jake?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So remind our viewers, why is this such an important event?
So Boys and Girls Club has been always committed to serving kids the best way that we can. And if we can do a little part about the cold winters and keeping kids warm, we want to have as big a hand in it as we can.
Yeah, and all people need to do is come to this and then stuff this van here on Monona Drive. We're looking for some new coats, some gently used winter gear, scarves, mittens, and stuff. How has this been going? It looks like it's been going well.
Right, I'm surrounded, you can't see it, but I'm surrounded in jackets over here, and every jacket counts. We are going to have our event at 3 different centers at the end of October here, and we really push to get coats throughout Dan County. So every jacket that's dropped off today will be utilized, and we're just so appreciative for the community's effort.
And if you're not sure what to do, it looks like we just had a donation over there. So why don't you give our viewers just a little how-to when someone drops off a coat? What happens? Yeah.
Right? Thank you so much for dropping off a coat. We appreciate it so much. This is helping Boys and Girls Clubs and kids throughout the country, throughout Dan County. Thank you so much.
So happy to help.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, and it's easy as that. Like, get your Monday started off right by helping kids in our area get bundled up for the winter. And the best part is there is a distribution, and they get to kind of pick out what they want.
Absolutely.
So we'll be here until 6:30. So come out and see us, and we'll have more later on in the show. Back to you in the studio.
It is a great day, the distribution day, when all of the coats and mittens are handed out. There are some happy people. Brady, thank you. We'll check back in just a little bit. And you can find all the information you need to know about our 40th annual Coats for Kids campaign on channel3000.com. And thanks in advance to everybody for helping us this year.
Thank you. That's right. And up next on Live at 4, Will Loper joins us for a look at the box office from the weekend.
After the major success of the first film in the series, the Conjuring franchise storms back into theaters.
And after a cool fall-feeling weekend, things are warming up. Blaze has the first warn forecast.
Plus, the Packers are starting off the regular season with a win. Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde breaks down whether the Pack will be able to keep that momentum going up against the Washington Commanders. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Nearly 8 decades after it first entered service, the USS Cobia is once again on the move to Wisconsin ports.
The World War II submarine has left its home port in Manitowoc for critical preservation work. Savannah Wood has the story.
A historic submarine has finally set sail for much-needed maintenance.
It's been 29 years since actually Cobia has left here, so this is a huge day for us. It's been a decade in the making, really.
Sunday morning, the USS Cobia began its 55 nautical mile tow to Sturgeon Bay. There, the World War II submarine will be cleaned, inspected, replated, and repainted in dry dock.
All the dirt and grime and moss that sits on it gets repaired and scrubbed, and so that there's no damage to it, and it can sit here for another 30 years before it needs to be back in dry dock again. So last time was 1996, and I was here for that as well.
You get a chance to watch movies and military movies, and there's nothing left of them anymore publicly showing. But we got history to my kids, my grandkids, and kids beyond that can see and enjoy a boat like this, what we got. It's a treasure. How many of them are actually around anymore?
Thursday's strong winds delayed the submarine's journey.
I'm glad it happened on a Sunday. Saturday would have been better, but Sunday it's good because people had to work. And they're going, what are we going to see? They got to watch it on video or whatever. Now they got to see it live.
Crews got the submarine ready for departure with 2 tugboats attached. Just before 8 o'clock, the USS Cobia left the dock, heading north up Lake Michigan. The trip is expected to take 10 hours.
And this kind of becomes part of you, like part of the family's visit now. Like, we have nothing here. It's empty. It's like boring. It's like, we got to get that thing back here as fast as we can. Like, turn around, come back now, and we'll be okay.
They're driving over the 8th Street Bridge, and now until it comes back home in October, it just feels like something's missing here in Manitowoc.
We'll have another party when it comes back in. Everybody will be here. Probably not as many when it comes back in, but then again, maybe you'll come out here and watch it come back in. Who knows? And I'll be here. I'll be here.
Maintenance should last about 6 weeks.
Quite the following, right?
Yeah.
Well, its return in October will close the loop on a journey that began when the cobia last saw a dry dock back in 1996.
Let's get another update on the weather now. It's just like Wisconsin, isn't it? When fall arrives and then summer returns. Wait 5 minutes and the weather will change, right, Blaze?
That is right. Unlike summer, though, we're not going to be dealing with a whole lot of rain this week, even though we are going to be warming up. This is where we started out on this Monday morning. 32 in Black River Falls, 37 in Camp Douglas. 32, by the way, is the freezing mark. A lot more of us, though, in those 40s as compared to waking up on Sunday. Tonight, no 30s, no 40s. Likely we're going to be hanging out in those low 50s, maybe even still hanging out in those 60s towards La Crosse along the Mississippi River, because that's where a little bit more cloud cover is going to be. That's all out ahead of our next chance for rain, which is going to move in starting Tuesday evening. But we're going to talk about in just a moment why the rain chance really doesn't look super impressive. So the big picture, and then we'll take it down closer to home. We've got a low pressure system that's coming out of the Dakotas, and it is getting stretched thin. We all know that phrase. When you're stretched too thin, you can't do something, you're kind of tired, you just can't put a lot of effort into just completing one thing. That's what's happening with this low. It's getting stretched, and low pressure systems don't like to do that, because when that happens, they start to fall apart. And so this rain, as we go into Tuesday evening, overnight into Wednesday, isn't super organized. A lot of that moisture is going to stay off to our north. We're going to squeeze out a few light rain showers overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, with those remaining sprinkles wrapping up by later Wednesday afternoon. And then Thursday, we start to dry on out. We're not seeing another high pressure system necessarily move on in, but we're just going to dry out, and we'll remain dry for the rest of this work week. So now let's take it in closer to home. There are those showers moving in as we go into Tuesday evening. Again, light to moderate, maybe a quarter of an inch of rain at best. Not a lot of moisture with this low pressure system. And after this dry weekend, there's not a lot of moisture in the atmosphere in general. Those showers will wrap up as we head into Wednesday evening, and then we'll continue to remain dry, as I said, into Thursday as well. So about a quarter of an inch of rain for most. An isolated half an inch of rain can't be ruled out. But again, most of us are likely going to only just see that little bit of rain. And it looks like we're going to probably trend drier than average as we get into the middle of September. Not seeing those big weather systems, those big organized low pressure systems moving on across the United States, which is also the reason why we were cooler this last couple of days, but things are going to start to change. So we'll talk about the temperature change with all this going on later on at Live at 4, but there is a look at your 7 and 10 day forecast. The best chance for rain, I think, is going to be Saturday, scattered showers and thunderstorms, but 70s and 80s. From here all the way through the end of our extended forecast.
Oh, I love it. As long as the overnight lows stay where they are, we're
Looks
good to
great.
go. Thank you, Blaze. Well, summer may be almost over, but moviegoers are still hungry for horror thrillers.
The Conjuring Last Rites. Are you a horror movie person?
No.
Well, it won big at the box office over the weekend. Will it give you a good scare? Here's film critic Will Loper's review.
Hey, Susan and Brady. As summer gives way to fall, pumpkin spice fills the air, and scary movies fill the theaters. The latest horror film, The Conjuring Last Rites, surprised with a massive $83 million opening. But is the film a scary good time at the theater?
Jack and Janet Smurl claim an evil presence has found its way into their home.
8 people live in this house. 8 people have experienced this.
Last Rites is the 4th film in the main Conjuring series and 9th in the franchise overall.
How many cases you guys had?
Cases? Maybe 1,000.
Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga return as Ed and Lorraine Warren, now with their adult daughter, who in past movies have faced off against a creepy doll, a nun, and this time, a haunted mirror.
Don't look at it!
The film is based very loosely on real-life events, following the Smurl family in Pittston who find themselves being haunted.
This thing in your house, is a demon.
The first half of the film provides some decent scares, but the film becomes overlong and unfocused, following two storylines that take too long to meet up.
And after all these years, it wasn't done with our family.
By the end of the film, all the jump scares become tiresome and the film fails to bring its story to a satisfying close.
Once we start, there's no going back. Anything can happen.
If you're starved for scares, you'll at least get your money's worth with The Conjuring Last Rites. For everyone else, skip it. For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
What time should I pick you up?
or for those who don't want any scares, just skip it.
Exactly.
Good advice. All right, coming up on Live at 4, it's not just the Packers who are starting off the week as winners.
When we come back, how about those Brewers? They're continuing to blaze through their series, and we'll learn more about a documentary that highlights how this year's team is similar to the team from 1982. Let's take a look at Wall Street. The work week is starting off in the green. The Dow closed up 114 points. The Nasdaq is up nearly 100 and the S&P 500 picked up 13.
Well, the Packers bested the Lions yesterday with a score of 27-13.
Good game. A Lambeau Field win to start the regular season. The Packers now have a quick turnaround with the Washington Commanders on Thursday this week. Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde breaks down the highlights from yesterday's game and what to look forward to.
Matt LaFleur couldn't remember last night if he told his team that they had 5 minutes or 5 hours to celebrate their 27-13 win over the Detroit Lions, but the point was unchanged for the Green Bay Packers head coach. We don't have a lot of time for celebration. As big of a win as it was, as much excitement as there was about Micah Parsons' debut, in which he had a sack and 3 pressures and lifted the other teammates to be more productive when he was on the field for those 29 snaps. The excitement had to end quickly because it's time to get ready now for the Washington Commanders, who will be here on Thursday already for another game. 2 games in 5 days is not ideal. It's even more challenging when it's the way you open the season. The good news for the Packers is A, that both those games are at home, and they won the first one, beating the Lions yesterday. Now, there are a few concerns for the Packers, and they are primarily on the offensive line, where both Zach Tom, their starting right tackle, and Aaron Banks, their starting left guard, left the game with injuries. We will find out tomorrow an update on where their injury situations are at, but those short weeks are often very difficult for players to come back from injury. There's also the question of Nate Hobbs, their starting cornerback, who did not play in the game as he works his way back from a training camp knee injury. We'll have full coverage of all of their situations and more as the Packers get ready for the Commanders on channel3000.com for free. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter, which delivers our Packers coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
All right, Jason, thanks so much, as usual. Now, this year, the Brewers are leading the National League Central Division with an 89-55 record. And with strong odds of going into the playoffs, this reminds us of a time decades ago when the Brewers united Milwaukee and the whole state of Wisconsin. Tomorrow, after the Brewers game on TV Wisconsin, you can watch the documentary, Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Brewers and their ragtag rise to fame that brought a city and state together.
It's about this kind of unique melding between the city and the state and this team of real characters, guys that I don't know that we see anymore, kind of outcasts, kind of free spirits, but then also amazing ball players. And it's the kind of roller coaster journey of their entire season that takes them to Game 7 of the World Series.
Again, that documentary will air right after the Brewers game on TV Wisconsin, which begins at 7 o'clock. The Brewers will be playing the Texas Rangers at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Good luck to them.
Oh, it's been such an exciting season so far. Coming up on Live at 4, some new electric school buses are hitting the streets in Middleton.
And in Dane County, police and schools are cracking down in school zones to reverse a troubling trend on accidents over the last several years.
Now, Live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Live at 4 on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Sarah is filling in today for Brady. Thanks for your help.
It's great to be here. Happy Monday. Brady will be joining us at our Coats for Kids Pack the Truck event. We'll talk to him just a little bit later in the show.
Yep, the big 40th annual kickoff today of Coats for Kids. Then that's not the weather you want to see for a coat campaign, but it never fails every year. The weather words today. This is a shot of Elver Park. Can you hear what are those, like little cicadas or crickets?
Yeah.
The warm-up begins are the weather words. Blaze Keller is out on the patio, and it's going to get a little warmer each day this week, right, Blaze?
That's right, to the point where we may get into the 80s by Friday, and we've already started that climb out of the fall-like temperatures back into more comfortable weather, back into the 70s at the very least. Currently in downtown Madison, taking a live look there on our Edgewater Sky Cam towards Lake Mendota. It's 70 degrees, southwesterly winds doing their job, bringing up that warmth. Southerly winds do it, but southwesterly winds, they are much better at bringing in that warmer air than even southerly winds. And even with these southerly winds, our dew points are still rather low, making it very comfortable outside this afternoon. And over the next several hours, we're going to continue to remain sunny to mostly sunny. And then eventually, as we go overnight, we'll turn more partly cloudy because we got some rain on the way as we go into Tuesday evening, lasting through Wednesday, but it's going to be very hit or miss. Temperatures, as I mentioned, climbing to the 80s by the weekend. We're going to talk about why we're suddenly starting to warm on up and if the warm-up's going to be sticking around. We'll take a look at just how long we could stay warm for in the full forecast.
Sounds great. Thank you, Blaze. In the news now, Dane County is seeing more kids hurt walking or biking their way to school. Law enforcement says injuries are up sharply compared to just a few years ago, with 15 children hurt last year, and that's more than triple the number in 2022. So starting this week, 13 police agencies are stepping up patrols in the school zones through September 19th. Officers will be watching for speeding, distracted driving, and also drivers who ignore the school bus laws. Officials say the goal isn't tickets, but it's making sure that every child gets to and from school safely.
The city of Milwaukee says that Fitchburg police helped them in the arrest of a 20-year-old man suspected of committing a homicide in Milwaukee. Fitchburg Police's special response team made contact at 2 different residences in the city, and the suspect was found on High Ridge Trail near the Nine Springs Golf and Disc Golf course. Officers say they arrested the 20-year-old without incident.
Well, for the first time in 11 years, Madison Area Technical College will have a new president. Dr. Jennifer Burns started as the college's 9th president in July.
Armand Rahman sat down with her about her decision to come to Madison and what she hopes to bring to Madison College.
Madison College's new construction and remodeling building is opening this fall. Perhaps it's fitting that Madison College's new president chose here to talk about how she is constructing her time in the position from the ground up.
We're going to have to talk a little bit loud because the saw's going.
Dr. Jennifer Byrne is bringing more than 30 years of experience in higher education, mostly in community college spaces. She says she's highlighting the relationship Madison College has with workforce partners, including new spaces that offer students at all stages of life everything they need to start their careers.
So I'm excited. We have a brand new student services area that just opened also this fall, and the idea is that when students need support, when they need counseling support, when they need support for learning challenges, when they need support for financial aid. We have a closet if they need support for business clothes so that they can do an interview.
Dr. Byrne is in the middle of having 100 conversations in and around campus, visiting spaces like the construction and remodeling space, early learning, and some of the other rural campuses. I'll have more about all the different classes offered and skills that students can learn here later on tonight. For now, reporting in Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. Dr. Byrne is taking over from previous president Jack Daniel III, who retired last summer after 11 and a half years.
The Middleton Cross Plains Area School District is rolling out its first electric school bus, marking a major step in its sustainability plan. The new bus, which has a range of up to 130 miles per charge, is quieter and more cost-effective to maintain than traditional diesel buses. Students and drivers are already noticing the difference as the district works toward zero carbon emissions by 2035.
It is much quieter. It is kind of outdoing what we expected as far as range. All of the electric buses are built with regenerative braking, So anytime you're coasting down a hill, it's actually recharging itself. We're getting better than expected results.
The district says it will continue to monitor the electric bus's performance as it considers expanding the program in the future. Well, it's that time of year again. The cooler weather will be here before we know it. And our Coats for Kids campaign is back for its 40th year.
It's hard to believe today we're kicking things off with a special Pack the Truck event, collecting coats until 6:30 p.m. tonight. Brady Mallory is live at Clinky Cleaners on Monona Drive with an update on how many coats we've had in so far, and can you still make it if you haven't dropped your coat off yet?
Oh, hello there. What do you think of my new set of wheels? Okay, I have some good news and bad news. The good news is, look how packed this van is right now with winter gear for kids and infants. The bad news is, I can still fit in it, so we want all the winter gear in here, no room for Brady's. So you can help us meet that goal by coming to the Clinky Cleaners on Monona Drive. We are here for a couple more hours, and we are looking for new or gently used winter gear to keep the kids in our area warm all winter long. And look what we've had so far. People have been really generous turning out. We have this cute little, I think it's a koala bear. Now, if they had this on my size, I would be unstoppable this winter, but this is going to go to a child in our area who can use it. And we want to thank everyone who's been so generous for donating. So again, we are at the Clinky Cleaners on Monona Drive. We're here until 6:30. Coming up on News 3 Now at 5, we are going to be interviewing someone with the Boys and Girls Club to talk about how your generosity will help so many people in our area. Back to you in the studio.
Well, you scared us there in the beginning. Where's Brady?
He may have forgotten about it.
Well done.
Gosh, thanks, Brady.
You can find out everything you...
Back, everyone. Well, nearly 3/4 of kids get their first smartphone before the age of 12.
But some new research suggests that kids who get a smartphone under the age of 13 face a significantly higher risk of mental health problems. UW Health distinguished psychologist Shyla Murgain is here with more on the research and some very important advice for parents. Hi, Shyla, good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Such an important topic.
This is such a difficult decision for parents because you face peer pressure from your kids' friends and so many other reasons. And there's quite a large body of research on this now. What did this latest study show?
It showed that kids who receive a smartphone before age 13, as you track them into adulthood, they were exhibiting increased suicidal ideation, aggression. They had lower self-worth and just overall depression and anxiety. And we know that introducing tablets, smartphones too early is detrimental to your child's health. And there are many other options for phones that don't have that smart feature.
Right, and Susan and I were talking about this before you came on. This research is obviously about kids who are no longer kids, probably. They're into the stages where you can have those diagnoses. Is there any way that parents can find a way to give their kids smartphones younger, but be smarter, pun intended, about it? Because sometimes it feels like there's no option when there's a child who has to be home alone or something like that.
Absolutely, and we don't want to be completely techno-free, but the American Academy of Pediatrics has a wonderful resource for creating a media plan that I encourage parents to listen to. And kids might watch a tablet or you might give them the phone, but it's so important for parents to talk with kids about, number one, safety. There are, unfortunately, predatory activity out there. You want your child to be aware. Also, parents need to really set some limits and controls. So there are wonderful apps that allow parents behind the scenes to monitor activity, what kids are doing. Kids can often be smart around it. So you also, and to keep lines of communication open. So parents, I think, need to really be actively involved in monitoring, introducing apps slowly. Probably, I really encourage people to refrain on some of those social media apps till kids can really handle it, introducing it too early. We think about brain development. There are dopamine hits when we all get those likes on social media, or kids feel pressure to keep up the train of conversation, and it can impact academic performance, their social interaction, and their sense of self when they're behind screens. And it impacts attention too. You don't learn I know we probably grew up feeling bored and we learned how to be creative. We learned how to relate, and we want kids to learn all those good things and not just be behind the screen.
And we're very tight on time here, but this is much more, girls are much more vulnerable than boys to struggling with these issues. So if you have a preteen daughter, it's a very important conversation to have with your kid. And as you said, to take the responsibility as a parent, to use all of those parental controls and to help them navigate this. It's a big topic. I wish we had more time, Shiloh.
Where is a place to go? The parents can go?
Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics, great resource on creating a media plan for safety, to improve your kids' sense of self, and to give you those safeguards as they navigate the wild world of the web.
And it is a big one,
It
a large
is.
one. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shiloh. Great to see you.
Great to see you too. All right, coming up on Live at 4, another check on the first warn forecast with Blaze.
And we'll get to meet one of the tiniest cheeseheads at Lambeau. Oh my goodness. The story of Vinnie James is coming up after this.
It is going to be a warm stretch here, possibly through the near end of September, as our weather pattern out west has kind of broken down. We'll talk about that in just a moment. A quick look at Tuesday, back into the 70s, low to mid 70s, partly sunny conditions further to the west. That's going to be taking over as we go throughout the day, ahead of that chance for rain starting later Tuesday evening. The average temperature so far from the start of the month through yesterday's date for the Madison area, a balmy 57.4 degrees, nearly 9 degrees below average. That's the third coldest start of September through the 7th in Madison's recorded history. We went from temperatures in the 70s to the low 60s just a few days later. But all that is going to change, and it's because that blocking high pressure system out west has been pushed closer to Hawaii. This was the setup going into the weekend. That warmer air was being pushed into parts of Canada, so we took their cooler air. Now what's happening with that high pressure system being pushed off to the south and west, more of these low pressure systems are able to move into the west coast instead of going into Canada. There's southerly winds taking in the warm air from the Pacific as well as the Gulf and moving it back overhead. So as long as this weather pattern stays the way it is, will continue to remain warmer than average. And that begins starting Wednesday by a few degrees and then nearly 10 degrees warmer than average by Saturday. That's when we get into those upper 70s to low 80s. And that warm stretch continues with us through the rest of the extended forecast and possibly beyond. This is the next 6 to 10 days, so this would include the end of our extended forecast. Again, the warmer or the darker the colors mean the higher the confidence level. But if we look even 8 to 14 days out, that weather pattern to our west isn't breaking down. We're going to continue to at least trend warmer than average, probably through the near end of September. So I think we're going to say goodbye to the cold stretch here, and we're going to hang out in those 70s and 80s through the extended forecast with a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms by the weekend.
Of us. Green Bay Packers games can get emotional, but one four-legged super fan is bringing smiles to everyone he meets.
Daniel Schuster of our CBS affiliate in Green Bay introduces you to Vinnie James.
Why do we come to every pack? Because we love putting smiles on people's faces, and I think he's beginning to like the attention. You want to talk on the microphone? Yes, here you go.
Meet Vinnie James, a 12-year-old Chihuahua who rolls around Lambeau in a football-shaped cooler. He was found on Craigslist 10 years ago and has been a fan favorite ever since.
It takes us 2.5 hours to walk around the stadium, and we meet all his super fans. Minion's his best friend, and there's Pac-Mania, and there's St. Vinny and Miss Liberty.
People can take games too seriously. People can overreact to a win or a loss. But Sir Vinnie James here brings a little bit of humanity to the game.
It's only a game, yes. I mean, there's big rewards at the end, but we're just here to have fun.
This Packer Pups ride started as a DIY project, a flea market football cooler on training wheels.
We happened to go to a flea market and found a football cooler, and then I found training wheels. So I just put it all together, and if anybody can find a football cooler, not a kid's cooler, but football cooler, please let us know.
And after a decade of meeting fans and going to football games, one thing is clear.
How would you describe Gloria and Vinnie James's relationship?
Inseparable.
unseparable, hands down, no question about it.
For Gloria, the memories keep stacking up, and so does her love for Vinnie James.
How much do you care for Vinnie James here, and what does he mean to you?
Vinnie James is my soul. He's just the best thing I ever had. Never let me down, always has me smiling.
And that's what we need on a Monday.
I'm getting teary-eyed.
We need a good smile on a Monday.
Exactly.
You need to get your Emma a cheese head.
I know. Well, all pets do that to you. Right here.
It's true. They really do.
How to lower the risk factors for birth defects in women under 50, and also how walking fast can improve your health. And later on News 3 Now at 5, we continue to our Pack the Truck event at Clinky Cleaners, how you can help our 40th Coats for Kids campaign. Thanks so much for joining us on Live at 4, everyone. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow. And you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.